So last week I overheard a dominant recommending these to a woman because they're low in sugar and fat-free and all that, and so she was saying that they were healthy. And well, she doesn't know anything. Anyway, we'll look at the ingredients listing. We'll look at this. James, I asked him if he wanted to pick it out. I knew he would, because he loves donuts and he doesn't get to eat them very often. But we'll be eating these probably today. And we've been holding off, but anyway, when he first picked them up, neither of us knew what they were themed for or anything like that. And I was looking at the best before date, and it said July the 4th, and I thought, well, maybe they were made for 4th of July. And because it's rare for us to get things that aren't expired or past their best before date given to us. And then I thought, but why were they red and white rather than red, white, and blue? And so then I looked closely. There's a little red maple leaf confetti things, which I hadn't even clued into. So they had lots of these, and I guess our guess is that they didn't sell well because nobody figured out they were supposed to be Canada Day things, because those little confetti things are so tiny. But if we look at the ingredients here, I'm not doing a very good job with the camera, am I? Anyway, there we go. The filling does contain actual raspberries in there. There's a whole lot of other things that probably would be best to avoid, but I picked up these. Both of these things were given to me by the Salvation Army Furniture Depot, so I can stuff my piñatas. And I've never heard of these before, but I'm guessing they're individually wrapped, and that way I can put them in a piñata. And the ingredients there, I don't know if you can read that, there's a whole bunch of fruit juice from different fruits, and a whole lot of sugar because it's candy. Now this Welch's Mixed Fruit, family farmed owned, so it must be good, right? And the first ingredient is fruit puree, and it also contains a lot of corn syrup, cornstarch, sugar. Anyway, natural colors, which who knows what that is at the end, and natural flavors, which, well, they're not actual flavors from fruit. Who knows, that's probably MSG or something like that. So anyway, we always can try to convince ourselves that when we want to eat something that it's actually healthy, but I mean, that's sugar. All of those things are sugar, and that's going to lower one's immune system if they eat them. So it's not healthy, and it's really quite foolish to try to convince oneself that it is. So, but I have not been eating healthy lately. Will partake in this. These will go into the piñatas. Now, why haven't I been eating healthy lately? I'm picking this up for free. We went to AMA yesterday. I got a coffee. Went to Salvation Army Furniture Depot this morning. Got a coffee. Now, I managed to make some juice today with burgundy bell peppers, lime, ginger, turmeric, black pepper. Mine has the black pepper right in it because I already ate. I had lentils and panch phoran this morning. Forgot to bring myself water. This is going to be horrible. I don't want to take James' water because I know he'll need it. I also forgot to bring myself my pear. I have a pear that I'm going to eat for dessert. I remembered to bring James's pear. My pear is still sitting in the kitchen. I don't like pears. I forgot it on purpose. I just don't realize it. It was like some sort of subconscious act. Oh, that's bad. Still some turmeric in that glass. I could rinse it out with this, but I won't.
It actually ain't that bad today.
No, it's nice.
It's not windy.
Mm-hmm.
This is good.
So I'll talk about those two first, or James will talk about this one. You watch this one.
Oh, okay.
On the basis of sex.
Oh, yeah. Everyone wants to see this nowadays, right?
Yeah, there's
What date
now
is that?
26
That's
people on hold after me for that one.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, she's presented as some sort of huge hero, and she did a Supreme Court thing where she won it against all odds and all this sort of stuff. I don't know, was it in the 70s or 60s, something like that? And it wasn't against all odds. It was a liberal Supreme Court. So the Supreme Court, that was a legacy of 20 years in a row of democratic rule from 33 to beginning of 33 to 1953. So, a lot of the things that are relatively liberal about American stuff, it came from that Supreme Court. And now what's going to be happening under Trump is there'll be people resigning from the Supreme Court, some of them liberals, most of them liberals, and then he'll be appointing conservatives, right? So thank you, Susan Sarandon, and other people who sat on their hands when during the last election. Susan Sarandon was saying after Hillary Clinton was nominated, there's no difference between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. Well, she's going to find out. Trump will be appointing people to the Supreme Court. So it's so she's presented as some sort of hero and that sort of stuff, and I guess she was. But the real heroes are the people in the Supreme Court who passed this, who made the decision, right? So she ended up being on the Supreme Court, right? I don't know if she still is. She's probably one of the people that's been replaced or is going to be replaced. So what's this one?
What would you recommend this?
Yeah, watch it, but understand, it's being put on for drama. I mean, some of the guys might have said some of the stuff, but it was just to touch all the bases, you know what I'm saying? So
this is Reuben Brandt Collector, and it's just a cartoon. It's an animated film, but it's feature length. So, and it was funded by the Hungarian National Film Fund, which I don't know.
It was in English though, right?
It was.
Or was that, well, it could have been.
It could have been,
totally different.
yeah. But they would have had to change some of the animation too, because a lot of the signs, since it was set in Paris, for not all of it, but then the signs, there were French, right, and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
So, and there was some writing in English. So, I don't know. They could have done it in a few different languages and released it accordingly, which is smart. And it wasn't bad. I liked the animation.
Yeah, you liked it right from the get-go.
Yeah.
Pretty well. You comment on it.
Yeah.
I liked it pretty good.
Yeah. I don't know how much I actually liked the film,
Yeah.
besides the animation.
Yeah.
But it was worth watching if you like animated films.
Sure. It's for grown-ups, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, definitely. No,
definitely.
I didn't see that much of it, but
So I'm just going to set that down for a minute. And we're going to rattle off this one. Dishonesty, the truth about lies.
that one was surprisingly good, and I'm not lying about that. No, I didn't even have to think about that
No,
one.
that's
But
a good line.
there was, they did touch on intellectual dishonesty, and it is the default mode at universities. Doesn't matter what discipline you're talking about, and sadly, it's like really nice people in many cases, very nice people, but they've got their, like their preferred
Narrative.
paradigm or narrative, to use the left-wing vague term about. That's what they talk about, anything that they don't like. But they've got they have their own narrative, but that one's, that one's pretty darn good. But they've got their own narrative about narratives, and if you do that analysis about everything's a story, then you can't really be all head up about Donald Trump. There's a left-wing narrative about Donald Trump. And actually there is. But understand, Donald Trump's a dangerous creep. But if you're just saying everything's a narrative, you see how you can't actually have any values, right? So at any rate, they touched on it a little bit. And they did. It looked to be some fairly good research on how people lie and why they lie. They were saying it wasn't so much to gain advantage in many cases, but it was just because they were allowed to do it, and they were figuring, they do it because there was an advantage, but it wasn't so much because they wanted to get an advantage at the expense of everyone else. It's more they saw everyone else is doing it, so it's like speeding, right?
Yeah.
You don't really gain an advantage over because everyone else is speeding, right? So you're not getting ahead
Of anybody else?
Oh, no. Well, there's the occasional person. It might be a clean living Mennonite or something like that. But so they were talking about that. And that's basically the way it is. They were doing. It looks like to be that way. Right?
Okay, so you'd
So-
recommend that one.
I would, exactly right.
Good.
Yeah.
And Bumblebee, Transformer movie, we did not watch it. Did not watch it at all.
The dogs.
The
listen
dogs
to it.
listened to
Yeah.
it. We were in the next room.
Yeah. That's
Did not
it.
watch it.
So
So, that one, no, wouldn't recommend that one. Not worth anybody's time.
well, we had a lot of good, clean fun as
We
a result
did.
of it. So if you want to be motivated in that direction, it's
Yes,
good. So
if you want to keep the dogs busy while you go off into the other room.
yeah.
The
So-
dogs did not bother us.
They didn't
I guess
bother
they were
us.
entertained.
Of course.
So maybe
Yeah,
it's at their
like-
level.
Well, I think it's a little below dog level. I think some dogs are smarter than the average kid, so it's for kids. But the sad thing is, I wouldn't.
I wouldn't let my child watch that.
Not by
There's a lot
choice.
of violence.
There was a lot of violence in it.
Bad
those-
violence. Like
bad-
right away, the guy getting cut in half.
Yeah, exactly right. And then guy getting stuff stuck in his neck, and it was. I wouldn't want my kids watching that.
Nope.
I don't know how. Depending on the age, I don't know
Yeah.
if I'd put my foot down, but I wouldn't be bringing that home
No way.
to kids.
So anyway, this one though, I'm gonna hold back and get James to watch it. So good.
Sorry to bother you.
you.
That one looked
This
like
is
some
one of
sort
the best movies I've seen.
You're kidding me.
Nope,
It looked like some loser Jamaican thing or something like that. It's a winner Jamaican thing.
it's not Jamaican. And although we have watched some things that they were
The only thing that really makes Jamaican stuff loser for me is
when
they
they
need
don't put
subtitles.
exactly.
And I got a linguistics minor. I've studied, I think it's like 23 parts, never in whole, but languages, some more complete than others at university, and touched on a whole lot of others. And I cannot, for the life of me, understand what's happening in a Jamaican movie. It's not just, I don't want to single out Jamaicans or anything like that. Not a color thing. I mean, Scottish movies, same
Yeah.
problem. Put
Gotta
in
have
subtitles.
subtitles.
We're watching a Welsh movie, and it was cute to see a Welsh movie, and there were some problems there, right?
Some problems, yes.
So sometimes with Matthew, is that his name, McConaughey? When you get put him and Woody Harrelson together, I think they're both from Texas. You notice
Matthew
that?
McConaughey
Yeah,
with
Woody Harrelson. I think they're both from Texas.
And do you have-
They almost like whistle. Well, I'm exaggerating.
I don't
but
know if I have problems.
It's funny how they kind of, on their S's, they kind of whistle or something like that. What's you? I can't do it.
No.
Something like that. What else you doing there? I saw you doing something there. especially S's at the end of syllables.
I don't know. I don't notice it.
No.
I guess I don't.
It tends to be like what
But this
happens
one-
is it's gemination. You see, they drop what's you doing when they drop a T out before an S, for example. Tends to do this. You know, it's more like when there's a DS where a D or something's been dropped out. So it's called gemination, where it'd be a double F. They tend to whistle it. And
Interesting.
it's very cute, you know.
I'm gonna have to listen for
McGonagall wouldn't be complimented. I think someone thought he was cute, but
No, I can't imagine. He's
he's a studly kind
very
of guy.
much a dominant.
Yeah.
So anyway,
There we go. That's a good way to put it.
this
What
one
was
I'm
that,
gonna
Mark?
do a whole blog post
There we go.
on this movie.
All right.
So I'm gonna get James to watch
Stuff
it,
to
and
look
we're
forward
gonna
to.
discuss it. So
Yeah.
if you wanna be up to date on what I'm gonna be talking about next week, watch this and make some notes. Think about it. It's worth it. It's worth the time. I'm gonna watch it again. So, and I made notes the first time, but it's worth it. This movie is worth it. So, I
Well,
guess
there you go. Where was it made? Do you know? Is it a Canadian production?
I'm gonna talk about it next week.
Oh, I just wanted.
Okay.
That's not. You don't need a spoiler alert for that, do you?
This film is by Boots Riley, and I guess I could ruin some of the things. It was produced by Nina Yang Bongiovi, Forrest Whitaker, Charles D. King,
That's
George
quite
Rush,
a name.
Jonathan
It sounds
Duffy,
like
Kelly
Chinese
Williams.
and Italian mixed up together. I like it.
Yep. And written and directed by Boots Riley. So I don't know who Boots Riley is, but awesome.
Well, there you
Good
go.
job, Boots Riley.
There we go. So a bit of a
thrilled.
spoiler alert there.
Yeah.
But not much.
No.
Which is good.
So yeah, definitely look into this movie. So worth it.
See?
So worth it.
That's a lot of movies we covered here. A lot
It
of
was. I
DVDs.
don't know.
A little bit of
I
division
don't
of
even
labor here.
remember. I don't
Well,
know how
like-
we found time
Well,
to
it was
fit all this
division of
in.
labor, right? You see,
Oh,
like
yeah.
I watched two that you didn't watch. I
Yeah.
think at all.
No, I barely listened to that.
Like you had a busy
dishonesty
day. You had a
thing.
busy
Yeah,
day
I had
yesterday.
a busy day,
So.
and I fell asleep.
Hmm.
So
And then I fell asleep. Like, which one didn't I see at all?
Ruben Brent Collector. I don't know.
I
how
saw a
much
bit of
you saw
that,
a
but
bit
not
of it.
much. I
Um,
slept through most of that. That's
And
all
you haven't
judgment. I
watched
was
this
tired.
one yet.
I haven't watched that one, right?
Yeah.
So-
So, and neither of us watch Bumblebee. The dogs
Yeah,
could
except-
review that one for
Yeah.
you. It's
Yeah.
not worth it.
Yeah, we did see enough to know it's not for kids. So
Yeah.
whatever it might be advertised as.
Anyway, so James is going to drink his disgusting juice.
Yeah, I've been
Which
putting
is-
that off. It looks like turmeric and
Yep, and ginger and lime and burgundy bell pepper.
holy smokes, this one is going to be Karul, and I haven't had it before, so I guess it's unusual. So
Yeah, I put the burgundy bell pepper pulp into just some of it
Well,
into your omelet.
that won't bother me.
No, and I
peppers
put the
go
pepper
with
in there.
omelets. Yeah, pepper goes with eggs. I always like pepper.
I put the pepper in my drink because I wasn't.
Oh,
gonna
lucky
eat.
you, man! Oh
Yeah.
man, yeah, you got that grimace on your face.
It's
Yeah.
really bad. I forgot to bring my water out. And I
Oh.
forgot to bring,
Oh,
bring my
oh,
pear
man.
out. And
Yeah. And you're actually able to like move your mouth around in order to speak
Yeah.
afterwards. Jeez, I'd have a permanent grimace, I should say.
well, there's some turmeric left in there. I'm gonna have to
Of
get
course.
it out of there.
Oh, do you want to use the water?
No.
My water?
You
Well, I
have to
need it.
use Yeah. So
Yeah.
anyway,
Wow.
that's our deck breakfast this morning.